Welcome to Talking with the Source, where we bring on well-known and local researchers from around the world to share their experiences and evidence.
Who knows that the moon missions were faked?
As soon as I said, I'll meet you, and she said, oh, darn it, I gotta check the door, make sure the door's locked, because I don't want to leave John's house unlocked. So she goes back to check the door. I go out to my vehicle, and I hear this god-awful scream.
Well, there are 63 races of grays. So most people only think there's one race, and when you say grays, it's a misinformation. There are 63 races. Out of those, one race is a negative extraterrestrial. And what I do is I group them in the negative and the positive. The positive wish to see humanity ascend.
What is your name? My name is Anthony.
Are you ready to unravel the mysteries of this podcast? Join us only on Talking with the Source, live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and on all podcast listening platforms.
I love that fucking new intro, dude.
What is up, everybody? AJ Capasso here, host of Talking with the Source, here with my other host and best friend, Jonathan Keyworth of JK47 Paranormal Investigations. We have another guest with us, and he is
not a guest.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, he's not a guest. He's our new host and part of Talking with the Source. What's going on, Nando? We want to introduce Chris. He was back on the show with the Demon House. He actually was a private investigator, and there's a reason why I snuck him onto the show to see some stuff. But he's on to be permanent host with the show. So we welcome, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Fire entrance. Love that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I had to whip up something new today, so I figured, let me just try something real quick. But not too happy with it, but it'll get there. You know me.
It's good.
But anyway, guys, so I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. I had things about Sumerian tablets, and I want to talk about the Annunaki. I want to talk about the afterlife, but there's a couple things that I want to show from TikTok, and I want to get your guys' reactions on it and see what you guys think. So hold on, let me pull up my screen real quick. I'll share the screen so you guys have it.
Sorry.
I'll share the audio tab. First I'll pick this one. This is a very very intense one because Billy Carson is talking about Jesus, and it's not what you normally hear. So check this out.
All right.
You gotta add it.
Oh, hold on. Let me add it. My fault. Apologies.
Hey, you're better than me.
Hey, I thought I added it. That was my fault. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So that existed. Some people like, Yeshua, that was his name, Yeshua. This was a real person that existed. Some people like, he was this imaginary person. No. There's a lot of evidence that he actually existed. He lived, he breathed, he had blood in his veins. He was a walking man, M-A-N. It wasn't some type of a flying guy with wings on his back. He was a man. He came through a womb. He was just interesting, though. There was a little something different about this guy. The fact that he was a virgin birth. But when I looked deeper into see, maybe this was a mistake or maybe it was a mistranslation, I found through the Apocrypha text that his grandmother was also a virgin birth. Now, this is really interesting. So we see this established bloodline here where through the grandmother comes his mother, and then through his mother comes him, both through in vitro fertilization. This is advanced technology. Someone purposefully did this. Jesus was
So,
Yeshua.
guys, I know I'm sorry if it skipped on your end. It skipped on my end. I don't know what is going on with the internet right now. So I do
Dude,
apologize about
TikTok
that.
sucks
But
when you play it live on this shit.
yeah, for some reason. But let me get you guys' thoughts, man. So, what he's saying right here is that he streamed back, he like looked back into the lineage of Jesus Christ. He's a very well-known person that has very high academics in the ancient text, all the way to the Sumerian tablets, everything. And he found in the Apocrypha text that Jesus Christ's grandmother also had a virgin birth. Now, if that was possible for both of the mother and for the, whatever, grandmother to have an infertile birth, like he said, is that advanced technology? That has to be something along those lines, because in the Anunnaki text, in this Sumerian text, I should say, not Anunnaki text, but in the Sumerian text, they talk about the Anunnaki and how the Anunnaki used a piece of our DNA and basically, genetically made us through their, way of
Yeah.
making whatever it would be. So it's amazing that we look at the Bible, which is only 2,000 years old, but we don't look at Sumerian text, which is even farther back, the farthest known text that we have. So I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on this.
Well, dude, I was Catholic, Christian. I went to church a lot growing up, and after I got out of the army, I just kind of strayed away. And I don't know, man. I mean, if he was able to pull all those miracles and stuff, and he disappeared on after he died, I mean, it questions. It's like, did he have this gene in him from this higher life form that he was able to perform those stuff? And when they killed him on Earth, were they the ones that came and got him? It just brings up a whole lot of other questions, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Totally. Not religious at all, hardly growing up, but have heard a lot about this. I kind of think aliens, yeah, Anunnaki were aliens, splicing. I believe that they spliced it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spliced in the DNA. The virgin births, true. Poor dads, but I mean, I think he was basically just an alien, and when they killed him here, they swooped down and got him. They're like, oh, they're not ready for us yet. And
that's what I think. And they're like, he has risen, but his astral projection of himself. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not well versed in the Bible. Did he show up after Easter?
No,
ever,
yeah.
or was that it?
No, so in the Bible, what happened is that they noticed that the tomb was open, and they walked in, and when they walked in, the body was gone. And when Jesus appeared to them, they were able to basically, he was like a ghost. He was able to be poked through, like where his wounds were. He told Thomas, like, poke me and you'll see my wounds, that I'm real and that I'm here. And Thomas poked his wounds in his hands and everything it says in the Bible to prove that he was there with them. And he did miraculous things. He stayed with them for days. But the thing is that, like, was that, extraterrestrial, or was that something, different? You know what I mean? Because these Sumerian texts talk about so much different stuff, and it's just like, it's so fascinating to find out.
It's Jedi
Dude, I
Force
want to get
projection.
that guy on our show. I want that guy to come on our show. I got so many questions for him.
I know, same.
Videos.
Yeah.
It was Jedi Force projection when he came back.
Yep.
Yeah, like when you see Yoda and Anakin, all them.
Yeah. All right, let's check this one out.
The Anunnaki made humans and started life on Earth.
I came across information about the Anunnaki. That's the name of the beings that, according to the ancient texts, came from heaven to earth. In the Egyptian culture, they call them the Natiru, and they said they came to earth and turned mud into a kingdom. In the Bible, they call them the Anak. They have these names in all different cultures. They all show up around the same time in every culture. And I started finding more instances of them. In every culture I looked into around the same time period. And I go, these people really came here at some point in the distant past. It seems to be now around 450,000 years ago they arrived and about 200,000 years ago, according to the text, not me, they started genetically tinkering with human beings, saying they were adding their essence to them to get us to do the labor for them. So around 200,000 years ago, they started tinkering with us, and there's a famous cylinder scroll, and it's in text at the British Museum with Isis, the goddess Isis, who was one of the original Sumerian pantheon, not Egyptian, Sumerian, and she's holding up a baby, and she says, the first Adamu, which means first man, my hands have created it. And she claims to have taken in the text, taken this baby to term for 10 months in her own womb to create the more modern version of Homo sapiens.
Interesting.
Now, how
The
interesting
Anunnaki
is
made
that,
humans and
right?
started life on Earth.
Tell me that's not crazy. So that's actual Sumerian text right there in tablets. Like him, he's talking about the goddess Isis, who is a Anunnaki being, Anak, which is in the Bible, which they talk about, which is Anunnaki. They talk about all these things through all the texts that are all around. And like, I mean, what do you guys think of that from hearing that from Billy Carson?
Dude, so this gets into like fucking, there's people out there that don't believe dinosaurs exist, even though we have all these fossils and stuff proving that the Earth's much older than what they say. And I think it's hilarious, dude. I'm like, the proof is right there in the friggin' rocks, and they still don't believe it. They're like, oh, that was planted or whatever. The Earth began when God created it, and then on the seventh day or whatever, he created man and woman. I don't believe it, dude. I think the church is a hoax. I think they're only after money. I think that's what I believe, man.
Yeah. I mean, I can't go much further. The time thing is kind of interesting because if you do the whole one of God's second is 100 years or whatever they say, and you do the math, the 6,000 years that the Bible says it's old almost exactly stretches out to how old science says the galaxy is or the universe is. So it's kind of cool that way.
There are so many I don't want to say coincidences because I don't believe in coincidences, but there are so many like synchronicities in the Bible that match up to so many things. But what I think is, I don't think the Bible is the only text that has these synchronicities, because the Quran has synchronicities. In different cultures like Hinduism, Buddhism, there's all these different synchronicities that have to do with life. So I think that if we looked at it as a whole and stopped fighting each other about what religion is the best religion or the only religion, and just all came together, we would actually solve it and realize that it's about love, and we're one consciousness, we're one people. You know what I mean? And it would be just so much easier for people to figure out. It seems so simple, but it's like, people just don't seem to get it. You know what I mean?
Because it's like John said, it's not about money.
Do you think that's why there's more UAPs, UFO sightings now than there has been in hundreds of years?
I think so. I think the Anunnaki, are coming back, to be honest.
Yeah. I think some of that is what AJ just said, and I think some of it is just our social media, and we got media, and more people see it. I can see a UFO outside my house, and I can send it to John in half a second if I get a picture of it. It's not, I got to drive all the way to ride my horse all the way up to Denver to tell him now,
Yeah.
Which makes it a lot easier to get that stuff out. But yeah, I definitely think they're coming back. I think they're seeing us and they're like, oh, we're getting to that stage where we're going to destroy this whole damn planet again if somebody don't step in.
Well, here's another.
Because it's going to be some stupid war.
Here's another theory that I recently came across, and it said that there was inner Earth people, and they send out UAPs and UFOs, and they do reconnaissance on us to see if we're going to actually kill the planet, like, by war and stuff like that. And
I've heard that.
Oh, sorry. What's funny is that all of them show up at these war places, if you know that.
Yeah, I've heard that. And going back a little bit, if you look at different religions, they all coincide too. Like the Garden of Eden is the same place X is, or Mount Olive is this in another religion, and blah 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 blah. So they all kind of coincide with each other. So there's something going on there. But
what about this coincidence? Like the earthquake in New York. We were talking backstage. 4.8.
Right.
I'm so mad.
The eclipse is on 4.8. Exodus 4.8.
Like, that's kind of cool, dude. That's actually cool.
Well, you know what's crazy, dude? No one knows this. I don't know if you guys saw this on TikTok or not, but the Earth has a human resonance. It resonates at a certain frequency.
Yeah.
Well, there was a period the other night where it stopped completely for an hour.
Whoa.
Okay, that means reality stopped for an hour. That's pretty intense. Like to have the whole human shumenance, or however you say it, like completely stop that resonant frequency of the whole entire Earth stop for an hour. And like people were reporting like animals like acting weird and stuff. So like I that's kind of scary to think about, like what it could be, what could be coming.
When was that?
That was just literally, I think it was like a day or two ago. I just saw it this morning on TikTok.
That's when my internet went out. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, like, and I don't watch.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't watch TikTok, and I'm not like, oh my god, I believe everything I watch. But this kid actually had graphs, and he had the graphs of the resonant frequency of the Earth, and it showed where it was blacked out for an hour,
and it went down.
Wow. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a complete black screen, like a rectangle. It was wild. So I mean, who knows what's going on with the Earth right now? I mean, we've been getting hit with solar flares like crazy.
What if like King Kong movie is true, dude? What if there's an Earth beneath our Earth that's
right in the middle of Earth where, yeah, and I've heard that, and they like come out of like the North Pole or something like that. That's where their hole is that they come out of. That's the main theory I hear, or Antarctica, or one of them. I don't remember which one, but they have like a volcano or something. They fly.
What if they're trying to tell us it's true in these movies and shit?
Maybe they're the one causing the earthquakes and stuff underneath it. They're like, if we move these two plates,
right?
Exactly.
And we go see this, and maybe they're the ones that give us the information for like CERN and HARP and all that stuff, and feed us just enough to.
Dude, whatever. I want this guy on the show. If anybody knows this guy or is friends with this guy,
I like this guy. This guy is like I don't know if I have questions, but I definitely love to hear him.
All right, here we go. Let's watch another one.
So, have you ever wondered why the Anunnaki are not mentioned in the Bible?
Because it scared
the Anunnaki are known as ancient deities from Mesopotamian mythology, who supposedly created humans. However, there is no mention of them in the Bible. Some scholars believe that the reason the Anunnaki were not mentioned in the Bible is because the authors of the Bible were not aware of their existence. Others believe that the Anunnaki were deliberately omitted from the Bible by religious leaders. According to ancient texts, the Anunnaki were powerful beings who were able to live for thousands of years. They were known to have advanced technology and were revered as gods by the Sumerians. It's possible that the leaders of early Christianity did not want to acknowledge the existence of other powerful beings, as it could have threatened their own power and authority. Alternatively, it's possible that the stories of the Anunnaki were simply not included in the Bible because they...
So, well, basically, this one is contradicting what Billy Carson said, and I truly believe Billy Carson because Billy Carson has done his thing. So I'm going to go to this one real quick from his interview, and I want to hear what you guys think of this one real quick with Billy Carson.
Oh, Enoch.
Who is Enoch? Who is Enoch?
Enoch is half human, half Anunnaki, according to some of the texts. So he's a quote-unquote demigod, supposedly. So he was his father was a god with a lowercase g, and his mother was a human being. He was special, and these beings that came to visit gave him an appointed date that he would be taken away from Earth. And so he got taken away from Earth, and he then describes the shape of the earth, the size, the color, everything from space. Gigantic blue glowing sphere. He's then brought back at some point in the future. In the Bible, it seems as if he just disappeared from earth and he was taken into heaven and never came back. In the book of Enoch, you find out he was brought back. Pretty interesting. Also, what's interesting about Enoch is he came back with some advanced knowledge and understanding about construction techniques.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, this guy understands and knows how to build megalithic structures. Who taught him this information? Wherever he went, he became a student, and he had this knowledge and this wisdom.
So what I'm trying to show you guys right here is the Book of Enoch. What's crazy about what he's saying right now is that, you know, in the Book of Enoch, it does talk about that. Now, the Book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible. Like, it's part of the books that are taken out of the Bible. Now, why would the religious leaders take that out of the Bible if it was such a big ordeal? You know what I mean? And I think it's
because they want you to believe them and rule them. Rule their belief.
Narrative.
Yeah.
The Book of
and it's
what better way to prescribe fear and get people to follow you than tell them, you know, there's demons or this never happened or there was no dinosaurs. You know, what better way than through a book, you know, that everybody has to believe if you want to go to heaven.
And don't the Book of Enoch also describe like the aliens coming down and picking him up and etc.? They talk about fire and
chariots on fire. Yeah. But the thing is though, is that people don't understand. Like when you're reading the Bible, you're reading the translation from someone 2,000 years ago. So when they say a chariot in the sky that's on fire,
that's what they saw.
That's a spaceship to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
well,
think
back
about
then it was a chariot or a car to us. They'd be like,
just think about it. Just think about it. If they came to right now to 2024 and we were like, yeah, dude, check out this spaceship. And they were like, dude, that's exactly what we saw, the chariot in the sky. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's on fire. And it'd be so crazy to hear what their thoughts were. You know what I'm saying? Because the language and symbolism in the Bible, people don't realize that there's a lot of symbolism in the Bible. Like, I think it stands for something even bigger. You know what I mean?
Mom always says replace the angels with the word alien in the Bible and see what you get. And the Book of Enoch, I mean, Enoch was I'm looking here, the great grandfather of Noah, who, of course, was the flood guy, but they had Gilgamesh in Annunakian or Sumerian, which would be Noah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's
or
another
even the
link.
story of Moses. What about Moses?
Yeah.
You know, how he parted the seas and survived in the desert for 40 years and stuff. I mean, Moses is in the Jewish religion. You know, that it's weird how all these things coincide.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's ancient alien stuff. I mean, if y'all into all that, which is all this is ancient alien.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Right. Ever read Eric von Däniken?
No, I have not.
Chariot of the Gods, and he's got a bunch of. I read Chariot of the Gods at least twice a year.
Hair?
That's one of his. He mentored him, or whatever you want to say.
Oh, okay.
Giorgio Triloculus, or whatever his name is.
Okay.
He sat at von Däniken's right side, basically, and learned from him. Von Däniken. So I read that book at least twice a year.
Wow.
And he questions it. He never states there's ancient aliens in his original text. Everything is question marked. But when it got translated into English, because he's German, everything became periods. So it sounds like he's saying there are aliens. This is that. This is. But in reality, he just questioned everything.
Yeah.
But I still read it. And he's got lots of books out there, and they're hard to find. A lot of them are.
I wonder why.
Exactly. I mean, I found that, and I've got like 4 or 5 of his books, but there's still like 2 or 3 I'm missing. And they're all the same thing, you know, like I'm trying to think of something like Anunnaki translates into ant people, which in the Southwest are the aliens.
Yeah.
So I mean that's cool. And there's that pole in I can't remember where it's at. And they found out that was just a normal pole. That he originally questioned that as this alien because it's so tall and has all these properties. And, but anyway, sorry.
Why? Let me ask you this. Then how come the Aztec pyramids are almost the complete exact in Egypt, and they were thousands of miles apart, and they were built around the same time period?
Exactly. I mean, I agree. I mean, they're step pyramids, some of them, but again, I agree. And if you go back to the whole Pangea theory too, if you believe there was enough intelligent life then, and then when stuff separated, that could be the flood. That could be, why just intelligence the same on both sides. And I'm just giving you the other point of view, another one. And then Christianity, it just happened.
Oh, I know. And these pyramids were built way before Christ.
And they're amazing. And if you look at the one in South America, it looks like a freaking airport landing zone for like the aircraft to land. And
no, all those huge shapes that are in South America, like the ant guy, and like, how do you make that? Like,
yeah. I've actually came up, like you could do the ratio thing, like, oh, okay, so my finger's like 3 inches long. So we're going to make 1 inch equal 30 feet. So now my finger is 90 feet long. But hard to do back then. I know, but I just like to argue the other point sometimes. So I come up with dumb.
Were they that bored?
Exactly.
Let's go build another one.
Let's go build a spider. Let's go build a horse. Let's go build a mosquito. Yeah, exactly. I agree. They were reaching for something, obviously, or trying to get a message to somebody. It's just a matter of who you think they were getting the message to.
Right.
And I think all religions are the same, whether it's God or Zeus or Ra, or it's all the same person.
I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. When it comes down to it, man, I think every single one can offer knowledge.
Yes.
And I think that like not shying away from looking at other ones than just one singular one is the most important thing you can do. You know what I mean? Stick with the one that you love the most, obviously, but I think you should explore other options too. You know what I mean? And
right,
that's where it comes in. But
or even go back further, dude. They're the millions of years where we evolved from monkeys into humans, dude. Like, you can't tell me that's not gene splicing, dude. Like,
then why are monkeys still here? No, I'm kidding. I hate that question.
We became fish that came out of water that turned into a monkey. Really? Like, that has to be alien technology, dude.
It has to be something gene spliced. No matter how they slice it, it's gene. Even the Bible has that. Like, grasshoppers had 8 legs originally, and there's all kinds of it. I found them one day. I looked them up like about a year ago because somebody was telling me it's not in there, and I was like, yeah, it is. There's all kinds of examples of what things used to be and they are now, and I was like, just explain to me how that happened without using the word faith, and I'll believe you. And they never could.
You're right. And that's the hard part about faith is you have to have faith, and it's like, well, what is faith? You know what I mean? Faith is just waiting for something to happen technically and without worry.
And I don't think about it. I don't put down anybody that has faith.
No, I don't either, because I have faith, and but if you think about what faith actually is, it's like, you're basically putting your trust in something that you have no idea what's going to happen, but you're just like, screw it. You know what I mean? And like you just hope for the best, and it's pretty wild. But
the people that put that faith in God, I've learned to put in yourself.
Yeah.
Like put that faith in yourself, and you're gonna get a lot more out of life than you would putting it into something that.
That's very important.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. And again, if God gets you there, God gets you there. If nothing gets you there, Mother Earth gets you there, Mother Earth gets you there.
The ocean, like Julie says, aliens have bases under the sea. Have been talked about recently, but not UFO UAPs, I'm assuming USOs.
Yeah, USOs under or whatever unidentified sea objects or something.
Yeah, dude. No, there's so much of the planet. I think the planet's like what 97% water. Like there's so many places we haven't explored.
If you go back and look at Christopher Columbus, I believe he has a diary note or something like that from one of his people that saw things coming out of the water when he was down by Florida and all that.
Wow.
I think
there's so many stories from back in.
How deep is the Marinara Trench? Does anybody know offhand?
I don't know.
It's like 21 miles.
It's taller than the Empire State Building. I know that.
Yeah. Here we go. I'll Google real quick.
And the Empire State Building, I believe.
Yeah, see how deep it is, and then see how deep the deepest hole was dug.
Oh, it was nothing. It was nothing compared to what?
The maximum known depth is 10,984 meters.
Which is literally 30,000 feet.
Like, 30,000
the deepest
feet.
point of the trench is more than 2 kilometers further from sea level than the peak of Mount Everest.
That's 2 clicks, dude. In the Army, that's like 2 miles. That's roughly like 2 miles deep. And how deep is the deepest hole man's ever dug?
Well, my ex. No, I'm kidding.
No, geez.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Deepest hole dug is 40,000 feet. 40,230 feet. It's called the Kola Super Deep Borehole, SG3.
Yep. And they had to stop, drilling there, I think, because it was just too hot or something, or
something like that. In 1989, it's in the Soviet Union, or a Soviet Union project.
So a mile's 5,280 in feet. So that's roughly how many miles? That would be
less
like
than a mile.
That'd be like 8 miles. Maybe 7 miles.
It's 12,262 meters.
Yeah. So times that by 3, that's feet. So yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually.
And in the United States, it's 31,440. It's the biggest one in the United States in Oklahoma.
Jeez.
That's nuts.
Talk about the researcher right here. He came up with
I love Chris as our new host, dude.
Right?
He does all this shit.
He does all the research. This is great. But yeah, so anyway, man, what I also wanted to talk about with you guys real quick before we head out was John, talk about a little bit about your session that you had recently and a little bit about what happened and
I haven't been able to watch the last one yet, so
dude, it was fucking nuts. Like, so I asked Nikola Tesla during the session, what frequency can I use to talk to spirit better? And this was the first round of questioning. Like, I asked the same questions a second time. But the first round of questioning, it says 11, 12, 13. Like you hear it clear as day. I can pull up the clip too if you want. But then on the second round of questioning, I asked that question again. I said, what frequency should I use to communicate with spirit in hertz? And he said 14. So it said 11, 12, 13. And then, when I asked the second round, it said 14.
And does that work in hertz? I mean, I'm not familiar with that enough.
I don't know how to get it that low. Like my spirit box.
Shortwave. Shortwave is the only way to get it that low.
I would need somebody to build a device that could scan.
Shortwave radio, you can get down that low?
Yeah, shortwave radio goes between I think it's a little bit lower than 8 hertz to I think where he's talking, because Marcello Bacci used it during his communication session.
You guys did a thing on that, didn't you?
8 hertz.
Yeah, I mean, my doctor uses shortwave radios. He's a whatever guy. I mean, I couldn't go over there and be like, "Hey, I want to talk to ghosts." You'd think I was nuts.
But see how it correlates.
Lock you up.
how it correlates with my editing is because I have to slow stuff down. So basically, I'm slowing the frequency down to where I'm getting these responses. So it's very true that in order for us to hear live responses, we have to be listening at that frequency.
See, I don't believe that we need to even scan. I believe, just like Marcello Bacci did, that he could just turn to the knob and all of a sudden spirit takes over and uses it as a conduit and uses him as a conduit like they did and come right through. I mean, it was absolutely amazing.
I don't have anything that will get to that frequency, or else believe me, I would be testing the fuck out of that.
Friday night, when you were doing your session, your spirit box session, I actually had the shower going because I was getting ready to go out. Don't mean to sound, but I was climbing in the shower, but I had it going, and I could actually hear like responses better. I was hearing them before you were saying them. You'd say like the 5, 7, whatever numbers they were, and I was actually, you were asking, I was like 5, and then like 3 seconds later you'd be like 5, and I'd hear 7, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, I better remember all these. I'm glad you wrote them down so I could. I got out.
Well, they didn't win anyway. I don't.
They didn't win, but I know I played them. They didn't win, but
you got to manifest that. You got to work on manifesting.
Right.
No, that was nothing. I just figured I'd play them just for the heck of it. I play 4 or 5 different sets of numbers when I play. So
right.
I just figured I'd use them for one of them. But I just thought it was cool how with that white noise, if you roll from the shower, I heard even better.
The thing that is
more relaxed.
Interesting to me is I was asking for a number and we were hearing numbers.
Yeah. And clearly numbers.
Yeah.
Yep,
and that's what I'm saying. I was hearing every number you heard, but right before you were hearing it. And I think it's because I was so relaxed and like AJ was kind of saying, I was just like in the moment and just
living the now, man.
Yep.
Instead of sitting there going like, oh, what's the number going to be? What's the number going to be? I was just like, if I hear a number, I hear a number. Let me, wash my hair.
Exactly. What are the odds of you hearing a number when you're asking for a number?
Yeah.
And it always happens at the same after the beep beep at 96.3.
Yeah.
369. And it's just crazy, dude.
But actually, I'm thinking back. My doctor actually believes in aliens, so he might not think I'm so crazy. So.
Right. There you go.
That's good, man.
Hey, yeah, there you go.
Aliens. We talk about it because he wants to go to MUFON and all that stuff.
Well, everyone, when you don't see Chris on the show anymore, you know what happened. They locked his ass up.
They locked me up.
Yeah.
My mom's a therapist. She'll get me out.
Right. There you go. But guys, thank you so much for joining me, man. I just wanted to do something short today. Next week, we're going to have a guest on the show, so I'll announce the guest during the week. But just wanted to do a little something short and appreciate you guys so much.
And welcome Chris to the show.
And welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you guys inviting me in. Always watch. Now I get to be part of it.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. That's how we do it.
Hold on. Show you my shirt. I didn't even realize I had it on. Speaking of ancient aliens, this is the thing they send into space.
There you go.
Space invaders.
It looks like it, but it's the actual code they sent into space on the record.
Yep.
With
Yep.
But it's cool. Yeah, I forgot I had that on. And somewhere I can't show it, but I have the record they sent to, not the real record, but
the golden record. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. We definitely have to show it one time.
I will. I'll pull it down off the wall someday and bring it in. Yeah, I think it's it's actually in another room. So someday I'll pull it down.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, until next time, my name is AJ Capasso, host of Talking with the Source. I'm with my other 2 best friends now, Jonathan Keyworth of JK47 Paranormal Investigations, and I'm also with Circus Chris. You know how
hold you guys up. See, I'm propping you guys up with all my research.
Later.
Kitty, love you guys. Have a good day.